Hello, I am Nimja, and this is Nimja Live for April 2020 with the theme Dripping Rainforest. Good evening, everyone. And before we begin, I first have a few things I'd like to say. First of all, I'd like to thank your continued support on Patreon. We're up to 1,136 supporters, which is frankly amazing, and it's still growing every month. I think I'll mention the count during the lives, like during the intro, also in a way to appreciate the many people that support me every month, and some of which have done so for, well, several years at least. Now, I'm sure that everyone is aware of the weird state in which the world is right now. And unfortunately, we had to postpone Hyde, the event that was going to happen last month. If there's any update on it, I will be very sure to let you know. And the Hypnosis Amsterdam meetup that is scheduled in May is very likely not to happen. So I apologize for that. There will also be update about the Nimja Patron event. It is very roughly planned to be in February next year, but we'll have to see. At the moment, it's not a good idea to plan any definite things. And yes, of course, I'm able to stay safe as a nerd. Staying inside is not the hardest thing in the world. It's a pity to, not cuddle as much as usual, but I'm sure everything will go back to normal. And please also stay safe and give people space. Let me see. Oh yes, and of course, like always, once the event starts, I cannot chat because the typing would make lots of noise. And it's much nicer to focus on the microphone as well. Let me see. There we go. And yeah, well, the meetups won't happen now. There will be more meetups again later. And yes, clicky click, I have to do quite a lot of things, like always. Now, for those of you who are new, the way this works is there's the introduction, then there is the discussion of the theme, and at about 1:15, we will start the trance. And once the trance begins, I'd like you to either participate or patiently wait until the trance is done so that people are not distracted by your chatting. And yes, it will help a lot to have earphones or headphones. Please be careful with yourself. All right. Now we have a theme tonight of dripping rainforest. For those of you who keep track of the lives alternate between a gentle and a non-gentle live, and this is a gentle live. So the subject will be fantasy related and will not go into any sexuality or obedience. Yeah, if you need to find headphones, better do it fast. You have about 10 minutes before the trance will start. Oh, piece of paper. Oh well. Anyway, so dripping rainforest. Let us see. Dripping as in rainforests are very humid, so there should be drips almost continuously. And headphones are not mandatory, but they are very beneficial when you try to listen to trance, because the closer the sound is to your ears, the more you also let the rest of the world fade away. Anyway, so for the theme, what kinds of feelings or sensations, sounds, what kind of ideas do you have? Maybe a river. Oh, come on, pen, don't fail me now. That's better. Ooh, warm droplets falling on skin. It's a very nice one. Sense of wonder, surrounded by creatures. Poison dart frogs. No, we're going to be very safe. Very tall trees. They're very old. Maybe not crickets. Maybe some flowers. Ooh, yeah. It's actually a good point. Earth and moss smell. Yeah, sounds moonlight or sunlight off water. Well, maybe streams of light coming down, although generally old forests have very little sunlight coming down because the trees are healthy. Vines and long growth. Maybe foggy. Photosynthesis. Wildlife. Yeah, of course, very high wind. Leaves, warm and humid. Velvety mist. Cherry blossoms are, as far as I know, not in rainforests. And there should be butterflies. And yes, my compliments to velvety mist. And a rainforest wouldn't exactly have forest nymphs. Forest nymphs are more for old European forests. It's a different kind of forest. Something mythical. Ooh, okay. Actually, you've given me a really nice idea with fireflies. So initially I was planning to do it during day, but maybe I can make it a transition from day to sunset to night, going from like lots of activity to very little. Let me see if I can prop this up. All right, I have enough suggestions for now. And the forest still is active at the night, but it's a different kind of activity. Okay. So, a bit more notes than normal, but I don't know if that will necessarily result in a longer file. We will have to see. Everyone, please get ready. So put on headphones if you have them, and sit back or lay down, relax. Very good. And it's really nice to see that you are all ready. I'm going to wait about 1 minute just to make sure that everyone has their time to get ready. Quetzalcoatl is one of the Mayan gods, or Mayan gods, if I remember correctly. However, I don't think this is going to go into any kind of very strong methodical category. It's going to be more soft adventure and relaxing. Now, during the trance, please remember to give people space. Even if you do not participate in the trance itself, allow people who want to enjoy it as much as possible. There we go. And yes, I will remember the spiral. There we go. All of that is ready. All right, let's begin. Hello, I am Nimja, and this is Nimja Live, Dripping Rainforest. In this file, we are going to travel to one of those beautiful old rainforests, where it always rains a little because the humidity simply allows water to gather on the leaves high up in the trees, dripping down like an almost continuous soft shower. Old forests like that are full of life, full of secrets, and they might be in all kinds of places. Now, while you listen, while you allow me to take you on a journey into this place, this dripping rainforest, I will do my best to include you on this wondrous adventure, this soft, sweet environment that will keep you safe and warm for now. It's very difficult to describe everything at once. So close your eyes and let's focus first on the sound. The sounds closest to you are those of drops hitting the earth beneath you. There's a soft sound of drops hitting leaves above you, and then of course yielding that water a little further down until step by step each little drop travels down to the ground. And the more you can hear every drop dripping down, the more your perception expands into the forest. High above you, there's a soft rustling of leaves, wind brushing through the branches and the leaves that dance ever so slightly just beyond your sight. Their sound like a gentle blanket resting and separating the rest of the world from what is beneath. While the drops play a music of irregular rhythm, the rustling of the leaves is more like a soft, continuous sound that provides a backdrop to your world right now. The more focused you become, the more you hear from the distance. Creatures and critters near the ground that let themselves be heard as they seek communication. The sound of frogs croaking far away. And from above, birds that sing deep in the distance. Once you have the whole soundscape ready for your mind, it is time to open your mind's eyes and look around. The warmth of the rainforest keeps you safe, and as soon as you move, a drop could land on your hand, and blank you a little more. The world around you is deep brown and green, old trees that haven't been seen by human eyes before. All this life is precious and sweet. There are some subtle colors hiding behind the green. Very sometimes you notice a single beam of light managing to find its way through the crown of leaves, a beam of sunlight that highlights a small patch of ground not too far from your feet. And if you look carefully, you might even find some color flower petals. Some are hidden high in the canopy, while others, close to the ground, still share their different hues. There's so many subtle things going on that it's difficult to capture them all in just a few words. As the water droplets continue to fall and the rustling of leaves continues to cover all above you and around you, the flowers, the birds, the creatures hiding, the incredible, strong, tall trees around you rising up, and vines reaching down again, some only able to reach down a little from those impossibly high branches, while others get down at least halfway. The more you look around, the more you notice that the air is hazy, like a velvety mist hanging between the trees that is highlighted by every single beam of light that manages to sneak through the branches. It is a wonderfully calm place, one where you can allow your mind to wander, drift, and drop like the many droplets that fall from the leaves all the way down. The tree closest to you creaks a little. A hard gust of wind has caused the top of it to sway slowly, and the powerful deep creak travels along the tops and the ground around you. It is a powerful feeling, a deep flowing state around you, and finally it is time to walk. Each of your footsteps is dampened by the age-old moss beneath your feet. While there is very little space for your feet to walk on bare ground, it is still easy going as most of the vegetation hangs far above you. Down here, it is mostly just moss, tall trees, and a few lost flowers. And while you walk, aiming for the wider patch of light in the distance, you enjoy the rhythm of the drops around you mixing with your footsteps. each a warm blanket that covers your mind. Those little drops each pulling you down with it. And as you continue to step forward, you slowly reach closer and closer to an opening between the trees. You hadn't even realized how dark it was. Those little beams of light, those golden sunshine threads, were nothing compared to the abundance of light that you were heading towards. The bright sun and blue sky above reflected in the deep dark waters of the river that weaved its way through the jungle. This rainforest gave way to this strong, stubborn old river that allowed the light of the sky and the sun to reach down and create an almost magical glow. What was muted green before was now vibrant and bright. The edge of the river contained even more vegetation and flowers that rivaled in beauty. There was a boat ready for you, and with some soft footsteps, a bit of shaking, you entered it and allowed yourself to be carried by the stream. The sounds here were different. The dripping further away, and now the sound of water streaming, rippling, flowing. The wind more noticeable as well, as the rustling of the leaves was no longer hidden by others. While you were on the river, the sun began to set. The beautiful orange hues, allowing you to see the change in color and light as you drifted further and further, deeper and deeper along the river. Those rainbow colors along the sky pulled you in even more. The wind slowed down, the birds slowly quieted. And the river ended together with the sunset into a small lake. It was likely the water continued still underground, but for you the journey was sort of over. The boat almost naturally slowed down and rested near the center of this small lake. The sky continued to get darker. Here on this lake, the trees had time to gather around and grow as much over the lake as they could. You could still see the beautiful starry sky above you, even noticing hints of the Milky Way. But your eyes were quickly drawn to different places. Little dots sparkling on and off, glowing spheres of light that seem to hover in the distance. Those little spheres of light that seem to hover in the distance. They slowly gathered from between the trees and spread over the surface of the lake. The reflection of stars and those lights in the water made it seem almost as if you were floating on nothingness. Drifting here, you could see the little lights all around you. The comforting warmth, the slightly cooler air of the night, allowing you to embrace the magical, soft lights of this place. The fireflies danced around you. You could almost feel their movement in the air. It was so quiet, so soft. And the more you allowed yourself to be drawn into their magical dance, the more you could appreciate the gentle nothingness around you. As the last light faded from the sky and it became almost entirely dark, even the silhouettes of trees disappeared, blending into the emptiness around you. All that was left was a small patch of sky above you, stars reaching down to light, and a few dots, those many fireflies dancing around you, creating beautiful patterns together with their reflections. A special performance just for you. Slowly, your mind drifted away completely, and your eyes closed even more. Now that the darkness was complete, your thoughts could remain empty and indeed enjoy this beautiful adventure, remembering the details even more than what I've told. Who knows? It might inspire your dreams or anything else that will allow you to feel that comfort and relaxation even after you awaken, that feeling of wonder and magic that is there. So in a moment when I count back up, remember that the words still travel with you. The adventure is part of you, and you can explore it even more. 1, 2, slowly waking. 3, 4, more aware. 5, 6, almost there. 7, 8, almost awake. And 9, 10, awake. And welcome back. I hope you enjoyed the adventure. You're very welcome. Well, if you fell asleep in the middle, it probably means that you enjoyed yourself a lot. And yeah, one of the beautiful things of hypnosis is that we can travel wherever we want to completely safely. The file is about 20 minutes long. And yes, that was a very wonderful way to do this, I think. I'm quite happy with it. I'm just quickly double checking if everything with the recording went okay. I'm glad that everyone had fun. So AS asked if I've ever hypnotized someone unintentionally. Give me one moment before we start the Q&A. So I will come back to that question in a moment. Just want to make sure that everything is done correctly. And this is live 48, I believe. It is indeed. Whew. And yes, my hair is a bit longer because no barber for me yet. Yeah, I actually re-recorded a sentence when the car beep happened. So if all is well, that should not be in the final file with music on the side. Anyway, and no, I am not intending to have very long hair. All right. I am ready to the Q&A. So the first question is, have I hypnotized people by accident? Yes. With storytelling, I've definitely put people in a trance before. Terrapin asks, what did you have for dinner? I had chicken, tandoori, and cauliflower. JRJ asks, when did you realize that hypnosis is your thing? Well, I mean, I very early was interested in it and got more into it as soon as I started trying it. Little Pup asks, can you purr for us? Mega Rose asks, would you ever grow a beard? No. Jim asks, how much of this was improvised and how much did you work on beforehand? Everything was improvised. Dusty asks, have you ever considered working for a library or a nursery where they have story time for younger audiences? I mean, sort of. I don't know if I would enjoy doing it like too regularly. Emily asks, do you find it any more difficult to hypnotize people with ADHD? No. People with different mental processes just need different approaches. Level 1 Gaming asks, would you ever teach someone else how to refine their own hypnotic techniques? Kind of. I'm okay giving feedback, but I'm not going to explicitly give lessons. Brian asks, how does it make you feel that some of us are literally using you to prop up our mental health right now? Well, I'm happy that my work helps. Haley asks, how did you get so good at improvising? Is it just something you have to practice? Yes. Improvisation is a skill. It means that you can learn it. I think almost everyone can learn it. Terrapin asks, can hypnosis work on people that have aphantasia? Yes. Hey sir, last question. Is it possible for you as a hypnotist to hypnotize or draw someone in with your eyes only? Lacey Lynn asks, how has programming work been going? Fine. Penny Addison asks, would it be possible for someone to use your scripts to hypnotize someone? In theory, yes. The thing is, though, it's better to learn how to do it rather than just like use a script. Tini asks, would you ever say, hello, I am Nimja, as you're greeting someone for an in real life session? Yeah, but more as a joke and an icebreaker rather than as anything serious. Nova Galactic asks, what is your favorite voice? Well, my own. But I enjoy doing others sometimes. Andrevios asks, is there a technique for using visuals to aid hypnosis, or do they simply not work for some people? Well, like many people before me have said, the best induction is the one that works for that person. There's no one visual or one induction that makes everything work for everyone. JRJ asks, have you ever thought on a hypno file on which you transport the person into a movie? I have made that already. What's the name again? It is being part of something. It has a very fancy name. Total Immersion, that's the one. AS asks, what are your favorite files to make? Well, the one I feel like. And yes, it's Total Immersion, a file that allows you to immerse yourself more into a movie or game. Parrot asks, what's your least favorite color? Least favorite? I'm not a fan of a lot of, like, browns. Fauna asks, what's the most challenging type of file for you to make? I don't know. I usually don't record files where I'm not in the mindset for the file. And because I decide what I do, I'm not required to make any type of file. Lily asks, have you ever had people come up to you in real life because they recognize you? Only once. And it's kind of cheating because technically the guy did meet me first at a meetup, but then he started following my work. Penny Addison asks, tips to help someone get started in hypnotizing. The Reddit for hypnosis is quite decent. There are links on hypno.nimja.com/about. The Real Avocado asks, since the last one is more than 100 files ago, don't you think it's time for a new mindless fucktoy file? I'm sure some other people would approve. Bogdan the Lurker asks, what's something that makes you laugh no matter how many times you see or hear it? Well, I mean, most things do wear out after a while. But Monty Python is pretty good. Jim asks, what do you read to relax? Douglas Adams or Terry Pratchett? Andrevis asks, what are your opinions on subliminal audio in hypnosis files? Well, actual subliminal audio does not work. Hush, little baby. Brian with a long surname asks, would you ever consider doing a hypnosis version of the nursery rhyme Hush, Little Baby? Maybe. I don't do any work by others or protective work, like copyrighted work. Parrot asks, what's your favorite board game? I don't know. Maybe Munchkin. Well, technically a card game, but like favorite table game. And several people have asked if I've read specific fan fiction. Well, please don't advertise yourself here. If you have fan fiction, you can let me know by hypno.nimja.com/contact. And yes, I am aware of some of it, and I have read some of it as well. I am probably not aware of all of it, because if they don't share it with me, I don't know. I'm also not a fan of Wattpad, because you can only read like a part of it, and then it complains like, no, you need to like log in to read more. Angel Tales asks, would you rather whisper everything or sing everything? Probably sing. Yoav Barlev asks, have you done hypnosis to help as a medical treatment? No, I am not a therapist. I am not a psychologist. For using like hypnosis as for therapy, you need a licensed therapist that does hypnosis. Just a little me asks, is secondhand hypnosis a thing? As in, you aren't the subject, but you still fall into trance? Yes, of course. Jess Chef asks, do you think there's a difference between sexual hypnosis and non-sexual for you when you make them? Well, obviously, yes. It's the same as a difference between a sexual massage and a non-sexual massage. Both require touching the body, but the intention for the massage changes the context, it changes the emotions, the feelings. Like, it's a mindset thing. Alessandro Vicano asks, can you hypnotize a person by singing? Yes, you can hypnotize a person in any and every way. Sparkly Ember asks, how can I get better at resistance challenges? I love playing them, but I feel like I always lose too quickly. You lose as quickly as you enjoy. The narrator asks, something that always gives you nostalgia. Mario, as in Super Mario. Jim asks, do you hypnotize people in Dutch? Sometimes, yes, but I much prefer English. It's a nicer language. Parrot asks, I noticed you changed the site recently. Thank you. Will you somehow add the SOM option back? No. The reason I have left that out is because a binary tag is more clear than the sum or lots. And for a lot of files, if it was some participation or lots of participation, was very like perceptual. So it's better to just mark them as they have participation. Jezebel asks, you seem very comfortable and open about hypnosis. Was there a time when you were secretive about it? If so, what made you willing to share your interest in it more openly? Well, see, I am a nerd and I work in IT, and nerds are perverts. So most of my life I felt reasonably comfortable if someone asked a direct question. However, it does work a little bit with a don't ask, don't tell thing, where you don't ask like people questions that you don't want to know the answer to. JRJ asks, what do you do in your free time? Well, I've been playing Hollow Knight and Risk of Rain 2. Becca Rose asks, on a scale of teasing, how teasy are you? Well, at least red cheeks. Something like that asks, is it bad that my friend accidentally hypnotized me? No, but if you want to do it again, it is important to ask for consent. JRD asks, have you played Doom? Which one? Doom 1, 2, the remake in the early 2000s, the remake in 2016, or do you mean Doom Eternal? If so, yes. Well, actually, I haven't played Eternal yet, but I've played all the others. Doom. Abigail Schrader asks, have you played Animal Crossing New Horizons yet? No, Animal Crossing is not a genre of games that I'm into. Speaking of Doom, there is a game called Ion Maiden that they renamed to something else. I forgot what the new name is. But made in the same engine as Duke Nukem 3D. And it's a relatively new game. It's pretty fun. Emily F. asks, what's the most recent joke you remember hearing? One that I thought up myself, or at least maybe have remembered. How many submissives do you need to change a light bulb? Only one, if they know what's good for them. Teeny Addy asks, have you ever had a session with a Switch? Yeah. Haley Woodworth asks, hey, why did the old man fall into the well? Probably because it didn't have any signs or railings. Irv Balev asks, what file do you recommend me to fall asleep with? One in the sleep file category. Nova Galactic asks, can you hiss for us? And of course the answer to why did the old man fall into the well, he couldn't see that well. Frontface asks, why did you start this channel? Interesting question. Mostly because I felt that there wasn't many good erotic hypnosis with male voices out there. Jesse Chef asks, can you growl for us? Bogdan the Lurker asks, just how many file ideas do you have in your backlog? Over 9,000. No, like over 300 or something. Hello, Captain Emo. Rex asks, favorite platform to play games on? Either Nintendo or PC. Casey Serena asks, what's your favorite Dom fantasy role to play? That's a good question. I don't know. Bogdan the Lurker asked, can your robot dragon snake evil laugh? Robot dragon, I don't even know if the robots would work together with the dragon voice. I wonder if this works. Okay, so that's Robot Dragon Snake. I don't think you can do an evil laugh because a muhahaha doesn't work with a snake voice, but maybe we can have like a... But that's the best I can do for this. Tini asks, have you ever played Sekiro? No, I've played quite a few of the Dark Souls, but not Sekiro. Westlake Angel asks, when you record files, do you feel like an actor playing a part? No, it's important to feel it yourself. Because if you're an actor, the file doesn't feel genuine. Andreas asks, have you ever had vocal or voice actor training? No. Harris Black asks, do you have any plans on coming to Ireland? You mean coming back? I've been to Ireland once before in 2006. I don't have any plans right now, but if there's a cool event and you want to invite me, nudge nudge, wink wink. I mean, someone very successfully organized an event in the UK and was like, hey, if I organize an event, will you come? And I was like, yeah, sure. And that's now one of the most popular events in the UK. Extra bonus points to the organizer of the Wales United Kingdom Recreational Hypnosis Conference. Alessandro Vicano asks, do you think that the visibility you have on this platform comes with a lot of responsibility of what you say and do? Unfortunately, yes. It means that I cannot speak openly about a lot of subjects because anything that I say that is too extreme one way or the other will be judged and taken out of context and reiterated, like reworded, reshared in ways that are completely like unrealistic. The culture we live in make anyone who has any modicum of fame have to watch their words. And I'm very lucky that most of my community is incredibly caring and understanding. But it's very sad to see that like a lot of people still actively prefer drama to just reality. JRJ asks, where are you from and where do you live now? The Netherlands, the Netherlands. Also Wales and Gosu. I agree. Azera Dex asks, do you have a favorite programming language? Not really. I'm comfortable with quite a lot of them. Nova Galactic asks, if you could have any superpower, what would it be? You cannot say mind control or hypnosis. If I had like Wolverine level regeneration, that would be kind of cool. And otherwise, a very strong form of telekinesis would also be cool. Diane V asks, ever planning to move to another country? Well, no. The Netherlands is quite all right. Like, there's not many countries that can offer the same quality of life things that I have here. Becca Rose asks, can you be strict? No. Haley Woodworth asks, what would be your ideal place to go on a vacation, or would you rather stay at home? I quite enjoy places with old architecture. So I've been in Scotland and Ireland, and I've been in Budapest in Hungary, and I really enjoy just looking at all the very old stuff. Jim asks, what languages do you currently work in programming-wise? JavaScript, Python, and PHP. Alessandro Vicano asked, are BDSM lovers sexual nerds? Geeks, probably, but yes. Fauna Johnson asks, the best non-joke you know. Who's the coolest guy in the hospital? The hip replacement guy. Oh, I'm actually doing it wrong as well, because I think it's originally the ultrasound guy, and if the ultrasound guy is not available, it's the hip replacement guy. Hey, they asked for a non-joke. Don't boo like the absence of humor in a non-joke. Jezebel, I look forward to meeting you in real life someday and have to duck or otherwise dodge. I'm sure you'll barrage me with punnies. All right. Anyway, let's get back to questions. I'll bring a butterfly catching net with me, Jezebel, just in case. So let's see. Andreas asks, are you going to make any more male-specific files, or are you more interested in female-specific files due to your audience/preferences? Funnily enough, my audience gender separation, according to YouTube, is about 51% female. So it's not overwhelmingly female. And I do have plans to make more male-specific ones. I do my best to make more gender-neutral ones, because those can be enjoyed by everyone. The narrator asks, what's your favorite color combination? Well, that depends on context. Sparkly Amber asks, is this a good question? No, self-referential questions are not great. Sophie H asks, any recommendation for files to listen to while working besides the background files? It depends on your type of work. Probably nothing with arousal. JRJ asks, do you have any tips for helping with Java? There is a really good website called Khan Academy, Khan Academy. They have programming courses for most things, and they're very good. Madame Blackamus Prime asked, is the butterfly behind you a wall decal? No, this is the magic of green screen, which means that I can make it a spiral or normal again. Tickle Mika asks, plans for any more vampire files? Usually around Halloween. Andreas asks, for you, what's the most difficult part about making hypnosis files? It depends a bit. So sometimes the idea is the hardest, sometimes the actual recording is the hardest. Usually I have, once I have the idea clear, the recording is very easy. Well, I mean, Jezebel asks, did you buy a green screen or construct one? So this green screen is fabric over a screen that I used in earlier lives, which was the nicest solution that I could make on a budget. It also allows me to fold it down like reasonably soft. And software-wise, I am using OBS for the streaming, and I'm using Audacity for recording. The Envy asks, can you please wear a green shirt next time when doing a live? See, that's a terrible idea. Google Miss asks, so you have an invisibility cloak? Basically, yes. Bogdan the Lurker asks, what is something some hypnotists do that make your blood boil? Well, one is putting things in files that are very questionable without suitable warnings. Like, feeding fantasies is fine, but a file should not make the listener obey only the hypnotist and the hypnotist alone without some serious warning of the file. The same goes for things like making people spend money on you or asking for payment. Emily F. mentions that, yes, during recording, what I do is if I make a mistake, I simply continue and repeat, and I use a quick key to mark that place in the file, which allows me to just like cut it very easily again. Alessandra asks, in your opinion, is it okay to feel sad and unmotivated in this period? Yes. This is a very stressful and bizarre time that we live in right now, and I don't think it's going to change anytime soon. So it'll take time for your mind to adjust. Jim asks, do you play an instrument? Yes. Andreas asks, what sound hardware are you using? Well, this is a Rode NT USB mic. It is a sort of cheap mid-tier microphone that is very easy. Jueta Papa asks, Nimja, have you thought about making a file geared towards dominance? Yes. Sparkly Amber asks, if you upload a file to YouTube and discover a mistake later, are you able to fix and re-upload it? No. Files on YouTube cannot be fixed. Files on the site can be fixed, and I sometimes do. And Andrew has asked, yes, the USB mics available right now are pretty decent. The Blue Yeti is probably one of the most popular ones, but the audio thing is a little bit more flat. So the frequency response is more flat, and because I know people enjoy the low notes in my voice, I thought I'd better get a mic with a good low frequency response. Jasmine asks, have you seen Has Been Hotel or A Hell of a Boss? I've seen Has Been Hotel a bit. Yes, the low notes are very important. Cheyenne asks, is there something about your recording setup that you dislike? That's an interesting question. Not really, because if there's anything I dislike, I tend to fix it, because I'm a nerd. Like, if I need to make 600 of something, 600 files, woo, then I will optimize my process. For example, to go from an audio file to a video file is 2 clicks and 4 key presses. Literally double click on something and like enter the number of the file. And the video file is created for me because I've scripted it, because I've done it more than 200 times before I was like, yeah, I need to script this. Becca Rose asked, can you unexpectedly drop us? In theory, yes. However, because I mark the start and end of trance, it would not be nice to do so. The narrator asks, how close are we to 1,000 files? Well, in the intriguing Induction series, not very close. It's about 100 files a year. We just had 600. Still Panini asks, do you enjoy making the gentle files or the non-gentle files more? Yeah, about equally. Rihanna Calder asks, what do you think of the series The Witcher? I thought it was really well made. Even though the lack of red hair on a certain character was a shame, apparently it's closer to the original. Sparkly Amber asks, will you be doing a devilish theme for file 666? I already did. Sorry, it's a very sneaky thing. Parrot asks, will you do something for 200,000 subscribers? I'm unlikely to reach that this year, and we'll see when we do. To understand what I mean, this is why I don't type during live. You'll see if you follow that link. That is not by accident. And no, I don't have a particular preference for red hair or otherwise. It's just that the character in the game had red hair and it was very distinct, but in the series they have auburn hair, which is actually closer to the translation of the book. And yes, I will make more files related to drug play or anything else that I've done before. Alessandro Vicano asks, why are some patron files restricted even after a year? That's a very good question. That's something I'm actually considering to change. But they are restricted because it means that someone has to choose very specifically to support, like to listen to it, and they cannot do so by accident. For example, the financial domination level 2 should never be available for free, because that doesn't work. Dian V mentions, nee, rood is gewoon nice. And I agree. I also have a suspicion. And we have about 9 minutes remaining. Suspicion confirmed. Jim asks, are there any themes that you feel you haven't explored in any of your files yet? Oh, plenty. But there's also themes that I probably won't do anytime soon. Andreas asks, would you be interested in re-recording or otherwise remastering your earlier files with your added experience and improved hardware? Oh yeah, like I sometimes allow myself to be inspired by older files. And yes, like always, the live ends at past. The NV asks, how do you never lose inspiration for files? Well, mostly because I actually like making them. I really enjoy like doing hypnosis with people. Cheyenne asks, is there a file that you're not proud of but were surprised by the statistics? Yes. Lose your voice. That should not have been popular. It's, in my opinion, a really average, maybe even bad file. And forget your name as well. Like for some reason, they're the way that a lot of people find my work. But for me, it's like, oh, those are not the best I can do, not even close. It's really awesome that people find out about it, but yeah. Hummus asks, how do you process or plan your confusion files without getting confused yourself? Well, it takes a little bit of practice to understand how much would chuck chuck if a woodchuck could chuck wood, but the more you work on it, the easier it becomes. JRJ asks, do you have any goals for this channel? Is it just for fun? Fun. Alessandro Ficano asks, pet peeves about the BDSM community. People want a villain, and it would be really nice if in the BDSM community there would be, it's slowly coming this way, a little bit more on personal responsibility. Like when I see people that are having communication difficulties and you say like, hey, tell this to your dominant, they're like, yeah, no, I shouldn't do that. He should know, or he should ask me. Or like their dominant should somehow magically know what to do. And that's not how life works. Communication goes both ways. The same goes as well as like if a dominant complains to me about their sub, I also would say like, well, talk to them. Come on, man. Communication, it helps. And it's the same for responsibility. You're not responsible alone. You're always responsible together. And limits and likes, like you should communicate them together and also keep that responsibility together. Dominants make mistakes. And a submissive can sometimes say like, hey, you did this last time and I didn't like it that much. And that's okay. Jacob Mazur asks, what's your profession? I am a programmer. Sorry for that tangent. Lone Twin asks, what kind of headphones are you using? They look very comfy. They're quite nice, actually. They're Philips headphones, and they are quite old by now. I don't know if they still make them. I like over-ears headphones. Mel asks, what's the biggest thing you've learned from your experiences so far? One of the biggest thing actually has more to do with how to talk in public. When you are famous, the way that you are perceived by people is not the same anymore as normal. When you give your opinion as a person, like in a normal conversation, that's still like okay. But if you give your opinion online in, for example, a comment or like something on FetLife, you're not just talking as the person, you're also talking as the hypnotist. And people interpret things very differently when it is a like famous person like saying something, which is kind of weird because we're all just people and my opinion is not worth more than anyone else's opinion. Like, I am just a guy making this stuff. I am just a nerd enjoying hypnosis and finding it fascinating and doing it because I want to. My opinion shouldn't matter more than like someone else's. And just because more people hear my opinion doesn't mean it's more true. And yeah, apparently lots of tangents tonight, sorry. But yeah, so when you become famous, you suddenly have to like not say things. Jacob Mazur asked, can we expect more files during quarantine? Nice try. Jacob asks, how long are you planning to do hypnosis? As long as I enjoy it. Oh, and I'm not like in any way ashamed of being a nerd. I am proud of my qualities and my skills. I've worked very hard on them. Madame Blackamus Primas, for the bunnies and punnies, can you say hop in a deep voice, please? For you bunnies and punnies out there, hop. Introverts unite quietly in our own homes. It's a very famous joke already. Mokali asked, might we get more stuff similar to mad scientists at some point? Yeah. Several people have quietly requested me to do more stuff. Anyway, last questions. Actually, last question, it's already time. Alessandro Vicano asked, is it possible to have a world community of BDSM? Well, that's basically what FetLife is. Sophie asked, anything that gets requested a lot that you don't intend on ever doing? I've had some requests, I don't know if it's a lot, but I've had some requests for like racism and sexism, and I will never do anything hate related. All right, I will say something nice to wind you down. Thank you all for being here. It has been a really nice live, and I know I can't stay forever, and I'm very grateful for your presence. It's really nice to see the interest and also the the community that has developed like around my work. The thing is, I am not responsible for this community, you are. Each of you adds to the feeling of this. And I'm very grateful that you do your best to make this a great place to speak. Thank you. Now with that, this was Nimja Live.